Hey, in today's lesson, we are talking about stress, specifically the stress that comes along with learning any language, including English. Learning a language is a process, it's a journey, it takes time, and it's natural for you to become a little bit stressed and overwhelmed from time to time. So in today's lesson, we're talking about 5 ways that you can make learning English less stressful. So let's get started. So the very first thing you need to do is get to the root of the problem. Now, this is actually an idiom. Get to the root of the problem. This means to find the real source or the true source or the true cause of the problem. So you need to get to the root of your stress. You need to find out, first of all, what is causing you to feel stressed? What is causing you to feel overwhelmed? So in order to do this, you need to sit down with yourself, take a few minutes and be really honest with yourself. If you have never done this before, you've never really asked yourself, like, why am I so stressed? What is stressing me out? This process might seem a little unnatural and a little strange to you. So I'm gonna give you some questions to think about that will help you identify the cause of your stress. So do you feel like you are spending too much time on your English? Do you feel like you are not seeing any improvements with your English? Do you feel like learning English has become boring for you or has become an obligation? Do you feel like learning English is difficult? Or do you feel like you don't have enough time in your life for English? Maybe you feel like you're too busy. Do you feel like you've lost your drive, you've lost your motivation? So really take a second and think about these questions. You can pause the lesson here if you need to and ask yourself these questions. Do I feel like this? And you might answer yes to more than one of these questions, or you might answer yes to only one of these questions. But the point of this little exercise is just to help you be more self-aware and more in touch with what is actually causing your stress. Okay, the next thing you can do is plan breaks into your study schedule. Plan breaks into your study schedule. So think about it like this. When you were a student in school, you had breaks throughout your day, right? You had recess, you had your lunch break. You also had planned or scheduled breaks throughout the school year. So you probably had spring break, summer break, Christmas break, depending on where you lived. You had breaks for public holidays and so on, all right? And when you started working, you also had scheduled breaks. You have your vacation days, which you can schedule and plan around. And the point is that when you are working on anything, you need to take breaks. And unfortunately, sometimes adult English learners overlook this important point or forget about taking breaks. We sometimes feel like, okay, we just have to keep studying and taking breaks is a bad thing. Taking breaks is absolutely not a bad thing. It's actually necessary for you to make progress. But the important thing here is to schedule and plan your breaks ahead of time. Now, this is important because it stops you from just taking long, extended breaks anytime you feel tired. So it is important to schedule your breaks, let's say when you are traveling or going on holiday, or maybe around Christmas or New Year's, you plan to take a week or 2 off from studying English. And when you are taking breaks, you can also think about fun ways to still use or practice English so that you're not stopping completely. For example, you can read magazines if you're going on a beach holiday, take a book with you, you can watch a TV series that you've been wanting to watch, spend more time listening to English music. So the key is not to fully eliminate English from your life during your planned breaks. Instead, shift your focus to something a little bit more fun that doesn't feel like work and it doesn't feel like an obligation. And one more thing that's important when it comes to taking breaks from your English is that you need to be accountable, you need to be responsible and make sure that when your break is over, It's over. So the same way that when your summer break was over, you went back to school, when your English break is over, you need to go back to working on your English. And you can also get someone to help you with this. So you can get a teacher to hold you accountable. You can also enroll in a course that starts when your break is over. So pay for a course, enroll in a course, and that way you know that, okay, when my break is over, I'm gonna start my course, and that's that. Another thing you can do if you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed with your English is simply to slow down. So let's say you don't have a scheduled break coming up, you don't have a holiday coming up, and you're feeling stressed, you're feeling overwhelmed, you can simply slow down your pace. The cool thing with being an adult English learner is that you can control how much you study, how often you study, how much time you spend, and so on. You can always increase or decrease the amount of time that you devote to studying English. So sometimes if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's just because you have too many things going on. So one simple fix is just slowing down. So let's say right now you spend 2 hours a day studying English. Reduce that to 1 hour. Let's say right now you spend 5 days a week studying English. Reduce that to 3 days or 2 days. Whatever is manageable for you. There is not a right amount of time or a wrong amount of time to devote to studying your English. You are really in control of your schedule and your lifestyle. So you need to adjust how much time you spend on English depending on what is manageable and realistic and works for you. So let's say you want to study 5 days a week, but it's just so difficult and you can't keep up, and you bring it down to 2 days a week. Maybe 2 days a week, you might think 2 days a week is nothing, it's not enough for me, but it's better than nothing. And again, you're not stopping, you're just slowing down a little bit to kind of catch your breath. And once you feel like your schedule is under control, you can increase the 2 days to 3 days, and then the 3 days to 4 days. And eventually you can go back to studying for 5 days a week. So remember, if you slow down, it's okay. And that's just a temporary thing, just to catch your breath, get back on your feet. And then of course you can study English as much as you like whenever you are ready. The next thing you can do is make a change. Now, sometimes we get bored, we get tired, we get stuck in a rut, stuck in the same routine, and we just need a change. So there are a lot of little changes that you can make to the way that you are studying that might just give you a fresh outlook and a change of scenery. So for example, you can change your physical environment. So instead of studying in your room all the time, you can go to a library, you can go to a park, you can go to the beach. Just change the physical environment where you are. Another thing you can do is try taking a new course, a program, or a class. You can also try a new method or approach to studying. You can try a new schedule. So right now, if you are studying in the evenings and you're tired, try studying in the morning instead. Try finding fun ways to incorporate English into your daily life. And the most important one, I think, is changing your outlook. So if you find right now that the way you look at English is, this is an obligation, this is boring, this is hard, this is stressful, you need to actually change your perspective and your outlook. If you change your outlook, you change your entire life. I know that sometimes it can be difficult to change your outlook on your own. And for this, I would recommend getting a teacher or a coach to help you if you need that, all right? Because it is extremely, extremely powerful. And sometimes that is the only change you need to make. You need to change your outlook. I have created a full lesson on how to change your perspective, change your point of view, and get in the right mindset for learning English. I'll link that lesson down below for you. And another thing you can do when you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed with your English is simply to review. As we get older, we put more pressure on ourselves as learners. We feel like we have to learn more, we have to learn faster, we have to be more productive. And sometimes we have a tendency or a bad habit to cram and fill our minds with as much information as possible. And we put this imaginary pressure on ourselves that doesn't actually exist. So if you find yourself overwhelmed, you just feel like it's too much and you don't know what's going on, It's always a good idea to pause, take a break, and review some of the concepts that you learned previously. Reviewing is a very important part of the learning cycle. You cannot learn without reviewing, actually. Reviewing is important because it reminds you about concepts that you have forgotten, and it helps you to solidify new concepts that you are learning. So always make time to review. No one becomes an expert when they study something or learn something one time. You absolutely need to review and you need to practice. So it's okay to just take a week or two even just to review all of the new concepts, vocabulary, the language that you have learned. So there you have it, 5 ways to make learning English less stressful. Nobody needs more stress in their life. And as an adult English learner, you have a lot of control, full control over your English learning journey. So it's up to you to reduce the level of stress and overwhelm that you feel whenever you need to. Now, if you don't follow my Instagram page, make sure you check it out. I share daily English learning tips over on Instagram. I will link it down below for you. I've also created a free ebook for you, English Conversations Made Simple. And this ebook is to help you level up your English communication and conversation skills. Again, that is free, and I'll also link it down below this lesson. If you have any questions on today's topic, or if you have any other tips for how to reduce your stress when you are learning English, please do share them with us in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for learning and for spending time with me today. And I'll see you soon in the next lesson.